World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Jana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.
Well, greetings and welcome to Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse on the Soul City Network, and of course broadcast also by WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And so, of course, we're going to start off today with a little bit of information on the How Money Works book. And then I have an interesting, powerful guest today. I am so excited to be able to speak with her. And so you're going to get a lot of information today. Be ready. Get your pads out, your phones out. Get ready to take some real good notes. Anyway, of course, we're talking about getting your checkup from the neck up, as I always talk about. And of course, you have the How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker book. That's written by two of my partners, Tom Matthews and Steve Siebold. And if you'd like a copy of the book, of course, all you got to do is send me an email. Some of you have, and you've gotten your little extra notes, because those who ordered the book, and it's free, you send it to my email address, anajenterprisesinc@gmail.com. And we also have a bit of a fact finder that goes with it now. And everyone who gets the book gets the fact finder, because MSNBC was nice enough to do a fact check on the rule of 72. Now, so you all been listening to me for years, so you know the rule of 72, how your money doubles and how to make money with your money. And so MSNBC thought that that was impossible, that there couldn't be a formula for it. Surprise. And so, of course, it's in the book. You know, they say if you want to hide something, put it in a book, because people won't read. But again, this book takes no more than an hour to read at the most. And so in that respects, you need to get the book. Then you need to read the book. Of course, I believe that if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. And so to stop that, I have opened up my office to be able to give you a free financial checkup where you are and where you'd like to be. All you have to do is call the office, and some of you have also. I'm glad to be able to say hello and got a chance to assist you in doing your plan. No obligation for the plan. So therefore, you don't, those of you who have done it, no, you don't have a sales pitch. We just are putting together a plan. You call our office at 646-375-2121 and say you heard about the free financial analysis on Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse. And we'll be glad to provide you with the information that we need to have to produce a plan for you. And so I just wanted to give one more tidbit. Last week, we had a wonderful guest. We had Kevin Davis, and he's from Club Cart Tours. And then I got the honor with some of the staff from Soul City. We got an opportunity to go in one of the Club Cart Tours. If you go to Soul City, you'll see the video. Matter of fact, if you even go to my Facebook page, it's on there too. It's probably on Access Wealth Nation also. But if you go there, you'll see us in the cart. It was a wonderful experience. I tell anybody you need to contact Club Cart Tours and get on board. They take you around. We had to wave at folks because they had never seen anything like it. It truly is better than those petty bikes and definitely more economical. But it is so wonderful to be able to see the city. And I'm a native New Yorker, but it was a joy. So I just say to you, jump on board. It was a wonder. I told y'all I was going to tell you how it was. It was fantastic. And so, of course, we're getting ready to embark upon Harlem Week. That is August the 12th to the 21st. So I'm hoping all of you come out to Harlem Week and experience all the activities. You can go to, matter of fact, Soul City is doing the streaming, which means they are covering the entire event. So if you can't physically get out or you're a little nervous because the monkeypox and the COVID and whatever else is coming on out here, you can see it through the Soul City network. It's live from Soul City. Got you. And so it's a wonderful experience. So many things are happening, many artists. So I just say, be ready. We're sort of closing our season down for Soul City because of the Harlem Week, but I got a real good in on this, so I will probably still be doing part of my show on Soul City Network every Thursday at 6 p.m. And so that's to keep things going, but we're going on a little hiatus and then coming back. And again, you can watch all the shows that we have done on Soul City Network on Facebook, YouTube, Comcast, Roku. We're out there. So just come and join us. But if you come out to Harlem Week, you get to meet us in person. We'll be out there physically. And as hard as we pay. And so now, with no further ado, because I'm really excited and I don't want to lose my time because we've got about an hour, less than an hour, but close to an hour to just chat with this queen. We've got the queen of queens here when it comes down to seriously building some assets. And her theme on her page is create 10 streams of income in 10 days. I can't wait to get a hold of this. But she is known as the Hustle Mama, and I think I'm saying that right, the Hustle Mama, and she hustles. Just that little time I got to speak with her, I learned so much of things that she's doing. And so with great honor, I'd like to bring on my guest, Dr. Stefany Jones.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening and welcome to Access Wealth Nation.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very grateful.
Oh, I'm so glad to meet you. I mean, my brother Matt was so enthused and he said, I said, well, can I talk to her? can we, sometimes, the key is, and especially as entrepreneurs, we need to group together, and especially as women of color,
Yes.
and entrepreneurs, we need to group together because we know what's happening. You know, when you get that look and go, what a day. They done put me through it, but
Right.
we get to do it. And so tell me a little bit about, number one, I'd love to know where you got that hustle mama. You beat me to that.
Everyone asks me about that. And it's so ironic because I used to be, well, I am a licensed ordained minister. So back in the day
Me
when
too.
I was doing the church thing, I was co-pastoring churches and doing some of that stuff, all that jazz, I call it. I was asked to preach a Women's Day sermon, and my topic was the Proverbs 31 woman. And I was reading it, and I was like, wait a minute, she is a hustler. She's a hustle
Oh,
mama.
please.
And it was like my life. And so as a single, I was a divorced mom of 3, right? So, and I was just working 2 and 3 jobs. I didn't have a degree initially. So I was working my way up and always had a side hustle. And then I was reading Proverbs 31 woman. She goes to bed late. She wakes up early. She trades in the marketplace. She holds her community down. She holds her children down, her man down. So I was like, okay. So Hustle Mama is actually a woman of noble purpose who hustles, and she helps, unites, shares, teaches, leads, and empowers families, communities, and the world. She's basically
Oh,
a Proverbs 31 woman.
okay. I love it. I love it. That was awesome because that's what, they have put such a stigma on the word hustle that
Yes.
I remember one of my associates, he had put up a book because we were trying to get this financial literacy book out.
Yes.
And he said, he put out there for approval from, the powers that be. And he put it as the hustle book.
Right.
And they were like, you can't call it that.
Right.
Why not? Because in our community, hustle is good.
Right.
You're supposed to be hustling. In other people's community, they got a different idea, but who cares? So, so that was a stigma that they put, and we just said, oh, well, we just won't do it under the company. We'll do it, we're free. And, my dad told me he who writes the check is free.
Okay, indeed.
So I'm free. And so I pay people, like I tell folks when I do my seminars, I tell them, look, when LeBron James got his contract, everybody went, ooh, ah. And I went, okay, that's good. He got to run up and down a court. I want to be the person that paid his check.
You and me both. I've always had the same mentality.
I don't have any idea of working for somebody other than me. I don't even, what is it they say with the designer purses? Girl, I don't even, every designer purse I got says my name on it. I designed it.
Exactly.
It's the ownership. So, of course, I want to jump in on this 10 streams of income.
Yes.
In 10 days. Now, I know you're not going to get lead into it. So what's the story on these 10 streams of income and in 10 days?
Okay, so let me quantify that for a moment. Basically, my entire platform is about mentoring women, right? Hustle mamas, women who are doing a lot of things. They have a lot of things going on. Like I said, I used to have a lot of things going on, and women always have a lot of things going on. I don't know, even when we don't want to have a lot of things going on, we do. So as a financial advisor, I'm not a financial advisor, but I've worked in mortgage banking and real estate development over the course of my corporate career. And the one thing I learned was that no matter what anyone tells you, there are ways to earn multiple streams of income. There are ways to earn passive income, and it's not about how much you make. It really isn't. Of course, your buying power is comparable to the amount of money you have to spend and discretionary income. However, earning multiple streams of income is something that anyone who is purposed to do can do. And that
Yes.
there's just levels to everything, right? Everything is all relative. And
True.
so I realized the power of real estate by working in real estate development on the commercial side and on the residential side and in mortgage banking. And the other thing I learned was the value and the power of course, life insurance, right? And
Oh,
insurance.
yes.
The fastest way to wealth, believe it or not, is through a life insurance policy, of course, as you know, because it is untaxable income. And it happens to be the last option for people of color. It's the last thing we do, if we do it all. And
Right.
so when I created the 10 streams of income in 10 days, I wanted to educate women, specifically hustle mamas, on the digital economy and what it meant to create passive income streams using digital assets to
Okay.
create digital wealth. And this is all pre-COVID, of course, right? So
Yeah.
I don't believe that it really became real to anyone until they were forced to work from home digitally from their computer.
Mm-hmm.
And then how to not only sustain their business and navigate revenue without the brick and mortar face-to-face interaction with their customers, but actually to keep themselves open and their doors open. So the 10 streams of income in 10 days is where I teach women in 10 days how to generate 10 streams from their one business, product, service, or idea by just leveraging their websites
Oh, okay.
the right
That
way.
makes sense. And that needs to be done
Yes.
because we get caught up a lot of times when it comes down to business to the old way of doing business. I was speaking to a young man. A matter of fact, I was working on an estate, and he was witnessing, and it was so interesting because he brought out the NFTs.
Yes.
And I said to him, okay, let me explain something. I'm a baby boomer. If I buy something, I want it in my hand. I want to feel it, touch it. He said, you can do that. I said, yeah, but then somebody else has the right to hold it. And I said, then he showed me a site and I said, see, I'm a certified toy person. I like stuff that does something. And so he sent me to this site and he had stickers because I was like, this is a sophisticated man and he's got these stickers all on his computer.
Yes.
And I was like, And so I said, so you still use stickers, huh? And he says, that's my art from my EFT. Those are my coins. Okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I said, oh. So he said, download the video, the app. And then he says, pass it over my computer. Child, I was sold at that point. I said, it's the toy. Now it's not the stagnant art that we've seen, like the Mona Lisa. You look at it, but how cool would it be if you had Mona Lisa and then all of a sudden that would be cool.
Yes.
So I'm joining in on this world to learn a little bit more, because, I do my due diligence, but I just, I told him when he comes back, because they're having an entire gathering of these people who have bought the art in Scotland. And
I love
they got a castle.
and
nice. There goes the real estate, and they're meeting for a week in Scotland and they're just going to have fun. See, I think that we do need fun.
Yes, we do.
I've paid my dues.
Yes.
I've been in this world of taxation and finance for 44 years. I am so paid my dues. So fun is good.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
So with these streams of income, you got into some stuff that you started dropping the wisdom and it even intrigued my brother who's producing the show, Matt McCoy. And it was about utilizing something as simple as domain names.
Yes.
Most of the time, I just went and got a domain name because I needed it. And I got a couple of them only because I have different facets of myself.
Yes.
But I never thought until I heard, I'll tell you when I first heard this, and this is definitely you had already jumped on board and then swam in it. But it was Travis Smiley, and TravisSmiley.com. Someone purchased it, and they were going to sell it to him for $75,000.
Yep.
And I was like, that's not nice. That's his name.
That's right, though. That's exactly right. And that's why it's an asset, because there's only one, right?
Yes.
So there's only one name, .com, and then the variation thereof, .net, .org, .info, .us, but there's only .co, .uk.
Yes.
But yes, the .com rules everything.
Mm.
And once you have it, you have it.
Okay.
And I learned the hard way when I lost one of my domains, and that's how I got into the business, because I had a list. I lost one because I failed to renew it. Someone scooped it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this will never happen again.
I got it. This is definitely another world. So is that a viable business even now, since the times have passed and so many words have been used?
Well, I think that it really just depends on the person and what the brand is, because at the end of the day, people memorize jingles, right? Back in the day, it was commercial jingles, song jingles. They remember hooks to songs. And the more flashy the domain name, then the more it's going to be a part of a person's memory. So I don't think times have passed. I think that there are domains that have been, let's just say, scooped up. You know, there are other people just like me. It's an entire world. We have our own brokers. There are traders in the market, just like with regular real estate, who do nothing but trade in domain names, right? And it's a whole big business. The thing about it is this, and I teach people, especially people who are, I guess, let's just say, non-six-figure earners, right?
Okay.
You know, I believe that everyone is entitled to have access to building wealth, right?
Yes.
No matter what. You should have the ability to work hard, invest, even if it's $10 or $20, compound interest, whatever it is, okay? My great-grandfather did savings bonds, you know, like whatever the instrument. And domain names is a way you can get into the real estate game without a credit check, without closing costs, and without a down payment or having to negotiate, if you're buying a domain name that is available, that's for sale. Now, if it's for sale on the market with a broker service, like any other real estate listing, you're going to pay, or at least be asked to pay, what the seller wants for it. And then you can negotiate just like any other real estate transaction.
Okay.
But remember this: a piece of real estate is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And sometimes you have 10 and 12 people who are willing to pay over the asking price. That's what happens in a seller's market, right? Or is that a buyer's market? Seller's market.
That's a seller's market, yeah.
That's a seller's market. So with domains, it is the exact same parallel, which is why I love it. I worked in real estate. I jumped on domains. I'm like, wait a minute, this is real estate. And this is what I'm saying 20 years ago, you know? And I'm like, it's the same concept. So you have it, you can list it, you can flip it, you can hold it, you can rent it, you can lease it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I never thought about that, but yeah, you could rent it where someone wants a specific domain name and may not even want it for a long time. They may want it for a project and you own it. And
that's
so
right.
therefore they can use it.
I'm the landlord.
That is awesome. I'll just make a note to everyone. This is some powerful information. So if you have questions, you better jump on, because, you know, time is of the essence, but the brilliance is phenomenal.
Well, thank you so much. I tell people, actually, domain name real estate has, I think, a 90% chance of doubling your money each and every time. Every time, 90% rate. And if I'm off, it's not by much, okay? because a domain name costs under $20. The right domain, you can turn around and sell it for $400, $500 within a year. Okay.
Wow.
And you only have to sell it for 40
To double your money.
Right. And if it's cute enough, you'll get 10 times that.
Wow. Now, before I go to the next topic, because you got a lot of stuff you're doing, but I was going to ask you is that does someone's name have a certain level of attraction compared to certain statements?
No, because what happens is names are fundamental, right? So you've got your BarackObamas.com, like your famous people, and you're really not supposed to. Okay, so let's go into the copyright issue, because there is a copyright and trademark issue. And I learned that the hard way. There is a governing body that polices domain names and the transactions. Is called the ICANN, ICANN. And it's basically every time you buy a domain name, you have to put your name, your address, your country of residence. It's a registrar issue. And sometimes it can be private, where the registrar, where you're purchasing it from, will be the name of owner on record, although you're really the owner, and they will contact you if there are any issues. But there's a police body. So for example, you can't register, let's say Honda.com forgets to renew. Goes into the market to buy. You can't buy that domain name because Honda is trademarked.
There you go.
They will get you. So it's still very loose as far as the law is concerned, but I always err on the side of caution because I'm a conservative. And I don't want to have to look over my shoulder. So rather than go up against a giant who has the money to pay attorneys to put me in court and make me have to pay out my pocket, I'm just going to register it. And that's why sometimes the names that are close to those names go available, because no one's going to touch them.
Understood. Got it. I got it. That's
proper names like your name.
Yes.
JanaWoodhouse.com. That's just vanity for you, right?
Yes.
For your brand and what you represent. I buy domain names. For example, I own a domain name called waystobewealthy.com. I own that. I own creditfixcafe.com. I own mortgageoverearly.com. I own real estate domains, food domains, transportation domains. I own the Every Black professional domain. So I own everyblackathlete.com, everyblackdoctor.com, everyblackfact.com, everyblackdentist.com, everyblackmusician.com. I own all of those. So those are all vanity driven and they're niche driven. However, if you're about monetizing, then you understand the value will never go down. So whatever the appraised value is only going to go up because traffic awareness only increases over time.
Got it. That's awesome. I'm feeling this, Okay. Because I know I went out and I got all the .coms and stuff for Access Wealth Nation because I trademarked it. Okay. I ain't playing. Once we came up with it, I was like, okay, we on the move here, and I'm watching folks because every so often the Wealth Nation comes up and I'm call my attorney, say, okay, how close are they? Because
well, Hustle Mama's trademark, and we have to do the same due diligence.
Yes, I got you. Okay, this is great. So now also you have, which is during these times, kind of the different swing. You've got a magazine.
I do. I own a magazine for 10 years now.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, that 10 years. Wow, that's a long time to be holding and on print. Okay, so tell us about this magazine.
Okay, so Hustle Mama, the magazine for today's powerhouse woman, is a magazine that highlights and supports the entrepreneurial efforts of women who hustle. They help unite, share, teach, lead, and empower families, communities in the world. We translate into more than 60 languages.
Mm.
At the moment, we see about 75 to 80,000 unique visitors each and every month. And unique visitors means first-time visitors,
Yes.
first-time people who hit the website. We get about over 1 million hits a month. Those are return visitors and page views. And we're global. So we're all over the world. Of course, the majority are in the US, okay? But we
Okay.
do have an audience in Canada, in South America, in Asia, and so in other countries as well.
Okay.
And I know that's because of the language translations, because we're very intentional about that. The magazine is a portal for women entrepreneurs to heal their hearts, hack their lives, harness their power, and build digital empires, because we pride ourselves on delivering content with a conscience. So
Okay.
we are about empowering, informing, inspiring, educating, teaching, leading, and building the communities of women everywhere that we are able. We have a business directory where women can create a free profile for their
Mhm.
business and blog. And I actually help to drive traffic to their websites for them when they're a part of that. I teach them, they get e-courses, they get membership in our community on Facebook, where I've given probably about 200 hours on our YouTube of teaching hours
Mm.
for free because I wanted women who did not have access to entrepreneurial education and resources to learn. Because I believe that when you can say to a woman, okay, you don't have to have the tuition to be able to make yourself or your situation better. Here's somewhere you can go and you can kind of get a little bit of information or even a lot of information, implement it, put things in place, and then earn the kind of money you need to go do what it is you want to do.
And anything is possible.
Everything is possible.
It's what you thought. God planted it in your mind, and they probably planted it in a few other people's minds. So you got to get busy as fast as can doing what you're supposed to do, because
Absolutely.
we're all brought here. And my belief and understanding is that we all came here with missions. God
Yes.
planted missions in our minds. And as little children, everybody's looking and seeing, back in the days in slavery, we say, are you the one? Then it became, when we came around in our world, I remember my mother looked at me and said, you're going to be a lawyer. Okay, I dispelled all of that because I tried to give mom what she wanted.
I
But
tried to, but I wasn't successful after year one.
yeah, the first year I got accepted, I was ready to go. And I had done so many other things. Plus, I owned my tax business because I've had my tax business since I was 19. And
Ooh,
so I was like, I like numbers, and numbers love me. And all
amen.
that reading and arguing, and I don't like arguing. So, so it was like, okay, this might not be where I'm supposed to go. But I do know that, my heart, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because I want to get back with you, because my focus has been on women and financial literacy, because no one teaches us financial literacy in our schools, but more so when they look at us, they're like, you don't need to know. And male financial advisors, which I have, most of my team is male. And I have them all the time. I said, look, let me tell you something. When you go see a couple, you got to talk to the woman just
That's
like you
right.
talk to the man. Don't let her get up from the chair, And it was funny. One of my clients took me to see The View one year, and we were just chatting. And she said, I'm so blessed to have a female financial advisor. And the woman said, you're a financial advisor? I said, yes, ma'am. And she says, okay, well, let me tell you, my husband is still alive, but when he dies, give me your card. I hope that you still be in business. She said, because I can get up, I can go wash the dishes, cook the food, leave the house, come back, and that advisor is sitting there and hasn't even missed me. And I said, yeah, there's a lot of folks who do that,
Yep.
and it's a big mistake.
It
There's
is.
also the mistake of the domestic violence. And so we do during Domestic Violence Month how women can prepare themselves, because the hostage in domestic violence happens to be the money.
Of course it is. In any narcissistic relationship, is the money.
Yeah, it's the money. And so, okay, we have a guest asking, Dr. Stefany, I'm a fan. Oh, she's a fan of your magazine. Okay, that's a good thing.
Thank
It's
you.
beautiful. And I think I know someone you may know. Do you
Yes.
know? Oh, okay.
Casey, it's nice to meet you. Yes, Demont Reese is actually our creative director. Yes.
Awesome.
And my longtime photographer too. Yes, thank you so much. And I'm so grateful to have you as one of our audience members. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. We got to spread the word. Let them know. The people need, I'm telling you, y'all got to go. Now, how does one subscribe to the magazine?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So we have our own website, which is hustlemamamagazine.com. And that is the traditional scrolling online magazine, but we're also digitally on the Magster platform, which is the largest digital delivery of all magazines on the planet. So that's your Vogue, your Essence, yourself, everything. We're on that platform. So you can get the digital copy and subscription through Magster. And then we are print on demand if you want a coffee table publication in print through MagCloud. So everything is funneled through hustlemamamagazine.com. If you want a fully interactive, engaged experience, because we were the first in the US to use Flipbook technology.
Okay.
We were the first to stream videos through our magazine pages, and we are still among the only to do audio through our pages. So if you want a hyperactive experience, you can go to currentissue.hustlemamamagazine.com.
Okay, that's great. Because yes, as you know, I said earlier in the show is that unfortunately, most people, we have to, give them something that they can either short read, because attention span doesn't work, video. It was funny, I just went through a class. It was on what's going on with the market right now, which I've learned I could make $1 million if I can find a one-handed economist. Okay, because the economist said, on this hand, this is what's going on. But on the other hand, so if I can find that one-handed, we could make billions of dollars, because there's so much going on in this economy. But in saying so, they asked what would make these classes more engaging, and I said some videos, a little interaction, ask us a couple of questions, talk to us. It's nice that you were talking head, but we needed more. So it's interesting. So definitely, I'm going to be your best friend.
Because I am just so excited about collaborations, because at the end of the day, and you touched on it earlier, I pride myself on being a spiritually based business intelligence expert. And basically, I use my spiritual Christian experience and, of course, my study of all religion, right? So I've done religious studies, but just the impact of the integration of God's word into our life practices, but our business dealings as well. And people do not understand that the Bible is as much a business book as anything. And if you are really studying Leviticus and Numbers and the law, it's very transactional, and it's very agricultural and seasonal. And God has given all of us seeds, which are those gifts that we are to be fruitful and multiply from, that we are to absolutely invest from. The parable of the servant and the talents. Yes. And the person who buries their talents buries your gift, buries your skills, talents, and your callings, will certainly lose them, because the person next to you, whom God is also giving gifts, skills, talents, and calling, who's then trading those into the marketplace, will be blessed by that and see a return on the investment. But the investment is not a false investment, but the investment in other people. So when you are investing in others, putting your gifts, skills, talents, and callings into the marketplace really means looking to operate from a position of blessing other people. And the return on that investment is better than any other investment you can make on the planet. Not to slight Wall Street or anything, but the tenfold and the 10x, because the Bible says one chased 1,000, but two puts 10,000 to flight. That already lets you know that alignment and collectivity and support and cooperative business is 10x, is 10 times the impact.
Tenfold.
So that's why everything I do is based on 10 streams, 10 days, 10 months, 10 weeks. Everything is by 10 and tenfold, honoring the tithe and the tenth in all things.
Yeah, the thing is that people forget, and I was talking at a seminar and I said, if you do this and you don't, there's no way, there's nothing getting in there. You can't get anything till you open it up. And it's so important. And there are so many people in the churches that are out here that talk about, well, you know, when you get to heaven, I said, Lord is talking to me right now, and this is heaven.
Heaven is inside of us.
That's it. It's been created, you know, and it was funny. I was talking to a gentleman, definitely a different cultural background, and he said, well, I don't believe in hell. And I said, nobody asked you to. I said, but you do have man thought, and that's part of hell. So you've got, when you don't put God in there, and when you do, you know, those little words, I keep telling folks, you got to listen to those words that come. You know, the little word that told you, don't go down that block. The one that said, you know, it was funny. I've had Lloyd Strayhorn, the numerologist, a few times on my show. I just love him. He's just a brother from another mother. And last night he sent me, during the daytime, he sent me a text. And it was him on channel, well, it was PIX, which is channel 11 here. And he said, you got to go with the rhythm, and you got to move. And you know, everybody wants to hit the lottery. And it's not the situation that you can't. It's just that it's a far range. But if you get the move, he says, okay, so what you got to do, most of the lotteries are won by, you know, the quick pick. And then he said, at certain times of the day, you got to go. I was like, oh, my God. And he said one was 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So that had already passed. Then he said 3 to 4. Okay, that had passed. And so I said, well, Lloyd, I made the mistake not listening to my texts and my emails and things. And then he said, but at 7 to 8 is another. I was like, and it was just the mindset. And I think that's part of your program too.
It is.
That entrepreneur mindset, which I love that, because you can't be an entrepreneur if you don't have an entrepreneur mindset.
Nope.
You know, if you, and again, I have to disclose, I am not downing worker bees. Worker bees are important.
Yes,
But
they are.
the entrepreneur, the difference between the entrepreneur and the worker bee says, here's the problem. What am I supposed to do? The entrepreneur says, here's the problem. Okay, these are the ways I got to solve this.
That's right. But I think too, the other thing is,
it's
all right, at the end of the day, everyone is not meant to, you can't be all chiefs and no Indians, right? No. But we all can stand in our greatness and our truth by aligning with whatever God has given us or purposely ordained us to do and be. Mm-hmm. Okay, so just like, you know, everyone's not going to be a wife, right?
No.
Everybody doesn't want to be a wife.
Right.
Everyone's not going to be an entrepreneur because that's not of interest to other people. There are people
that calling.
Who work every day. They want their paycheck. They want peace and quiet. They want their fish fry, their card party, their vacations. And there's nothing wrong with any of that.
Not a thing.
Because life is supposed to be lived in good health and prosperity. And the prosperity has nothing to do with how much money you have.
Not at all.
Because you can have all the money in the world. If you don't have your health, and you have a death sentence and no cure, that money's not going to do anything for you. And in fact, if
Or
it's
you have all the money in the world and you die alone, and
and
or
unhappy
yes,
and
or
lonely.
right, like I've said to folks that, I've gone to and I've performed, officiated a few funerals, and the most saddest one was one that nobody had anything to say about the person. Not a word. I mean, when I got to that point, and said, who would like to share the memory? And then I had to make the statement that love never dies. It's only if someone never remembers you and has nothing to say about you, even if it's bad, at least they
Right.
remembered you. That energy is still thriving. But when they have nothing to say and they don't do your obituary, there's a one line obituary, and you're like, okay,
How tragic is that?
that is so sad. It's death.
But
It's
you
an
know what's sadder than that even? You're
Mhm.
still talking about someone who died, right? What's sadder than that is someone who's living every day against their purpose, right?
Yes,
Someone who is allowing death to rob them of the life that they have and should be living. And
yes,
I tell women all the time, you owe it to the world, you owe it to your children, and you owe it to yourself to live in your power, to
yes.
love through your power. Okay. And they're waiting for you. Someone out here is waiting only for what you can teach them, you can tell them, you can pour into them, you can impart. Someone, it may only be one person, but
That's
their
it.
deliverance, their health, their freedom, their healing is waiting on you.
That's it. And if you don't show up, that stops the process. So you
It
got to
stops the
keep going.
process.
You got to keep going. And you're right, is that it may not be, because it doesn't, the words don't always have to come from someone brilliant and out there in the public or
No,
whatever. It can be, the most meek person can give you the words. It's like, I never forget, I have had so many women in my life that have passed through and just dropped the gem and kept going, but it kept me going so that I could do the things I'm supposed to do. And that's where I think in some ways I'm so glad you have the magazine, because I was just saying to some women, I said,
okay.
we're missing something. And what we're missing is what I had. I had elders who would tell me, be quiet because you got to listen. I got to tell you something. We need to communicate. We don't
I
talk
agree.
to, we're afraid to talk to our young sisters, and I'm not afraid, because one time I walked down the street, this child had her skirt to possible. Okay. If she sneezed, it was going to be possible. Okay. And I just said, sis, you're a queen. You don't need to show everything. Let them guess a little. And I kept stepping. I didn't even wait to see whether she responded. Did she suck her teeth? I don't care. But the spirit hit me to say that you don't have to give it all up,
But you know
And
what
then,
I think it is too? I think it's people are missing true relationship, right?
yes,
And back in our era, we had fellowship, and relationships are forged from fellowship.
yes,
And so, in the absence of human interaction with technology, remember, everything's a double edged sword, right? In the absence of communication, of conflict
mhm,
resolution, of even just one to one human touch, I believe that many have forgotten what it means to cultivate and develop the relationship and how much it actually means. And because we've become a society that has predicated our need for speed and love based on likes and shares and comments, and we've instead used that as a qualifier when it is not even a true measurement of anything other than a person stroking their finger. So I believe that you're right. And I also believe that, as the pendulum swings from one side to the other, surely there will be a thirst for and a return to what really matters, and where thriving, the soul has to thrive. Our souls need nourishment. They
Mhm.
need love. They need fellowship. They need human interaction to thrive. And I believe that we will return to that and hunger and thirst for that and have no choice but to be in that space again, no matter how progressive we become.
Well, I know, even in my business, I know some people get shocked, but I still do the hug. When people come into the office, I ask them, is it okay? But I'd like to, give you a hug because it's a connection.
Yes.
We've got a desk in between us. Sometimes we've had, a window between us,
Yes.
and there's no connection and that's not us. There's a vibration that needs to be shared. I laughed when 60 Minutes did the show on the woman that is a hug specialist.
Yes. Yes.
As a child can come up with a way to make $1. Okay, so she gets that. Okay, I've been truly inspired by this conversation. Okay, you
Oh,
are so
thank you so
welcome.
much. Thank you.
Well, I'll be honest, I've been inspired because you got to know, what it's like. It's like when you get to some place and you've been on a mission, and then you find someone who's on that same mission, and they're taking you to another level. So there, I appreciate you, sis, because
And I appreciate you.
this is what I'm looking forward to, us working together
Me
and
too.
sharing. You know, Thank you very much. Yes,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
and I can see the changes taking place. I can see, now when you look at your group of women that you're dealing with, because I'm sure diversified women, especially since it's all over the world. Are you embracing the young ones? Are they coming
Oh,
on
for
board
sure.
too?
Yes. Well, I have two daughters. Okay, so 29 and 27, and
Now
so
you look 29, 27 yourself, so come on now.
oh, thank you. I'm a grandma, a grandma.
Oh,
I
see,
am.
they tell us, they keep saying it don't crack. It never got crack. It's just
Yeah.
good.
I'm a 60s baby. So, but yes, our true demographic is between 30 and 55. But of course, I have some who are over 55 and some who are under 30. And what I've done is I've been very careful to make sure that people understand the scope of what Hustle Mama is. And basically, it is hopefully for them the rich, nourishing soil that they need to help plant firmly the seeds of their desires, of their visions, of their dreams, of their thirst, so that they can flourish. Okay, so I just want to be the soil that is the miracle grow, using the word,
The good soil.
yes, the good soil, and really using the word, because the words are what have power. And the words, people don't understand, even in terms of linguistics, that we speak the word with our thought before we ever execute it with our mouths, right?
Mhm.
So, there used to be this thing, I don't know, this saying like, don't let your mouth write a check. Your
That you
mind
can't cash.
Right. So make sure your brain is in gear before you put your foot on the pedal. So the word spoken is really actually going forth with our thoughts, which is why our thoughts are so important, which is why the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Of
So
your
your
mind.
mind renewal has to be on a daily basis, sometimes 5, 6, 10 times a day. Okay. And that is because once the thought is there, no matter what you speak, it doesn't matter, because the thought has already planted the seed. And that's why insecurity, regret, unforgiveness takes such root in
Yes.
people's lives. No matter what they say, oh, I'm over him. No, you're not. Don't lie. Because
No.
you're saying you're over him, but in your mind, you're like, why is he with her? So really anchored in your heart is why is he with her? And then that's the sorrows. And then you're speaking something that is void. So it's very important that our words matter, that our words are emphasized, that we watch how we think about people, what we say in our hearts, and that we understand that everything that is culminating around us in our ecosystem, we have complete control over.
That's it, because you and spirit co-create. And that's why I don't allow when the women, we used to do physical seminars. I'm going to go back to them. But I used to say, when you have your purse and you say, I'm broke. Broke means that it's not coming back. It's over. So you got to say what the truth is. It's circulating. Now, it may circulate a little slower than you'd like, but it's circulating. And that's because these are the things that, they say, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It was the thought.
That's right. Well, remember, God thought before he created, right? And that is why our seeds and the visions and the dreams and the thoughts are so important. God says, I know the plans or the thoughts that I have for you. So the execution has to come from the vision. People envision, an architect doesn't build a building just because the paper says so. No, there was a vision for what that building should look like. And then it's put to paper and becomes a blueprint. And then the engineering and the mechanics. And our lives are the same way. We are the architects. The vision is there. It's up to us to put it on paper and make it plain. And then it's up to us to run with it and execute on every single thing. And then go on to the next and on to the next and on to the next.
And it comes to fruition. We missed one brother said, great show, ladies. The content is of so much value. I told you, because she's coming back. She doesn't know yet, but my thought process has already come. Okay, thanks for saying
Thank you.
Physical warming and connecting. The human touch is a language that is a part of the decision-making process. Every transaction should begin and end with a handshake, yes, or an
absolutely.
I truly agree to that. I truly did. This is the real. Time is passing, so I got a couple of more minutes. I want to hold on to you because this is so important for us to move forward. And I was just speaking to the producers about the fact that I wanted to do something specifically for women. And then, yes, I want to do something where we all get together. I remember I went through rites of passage in Ghana because everybody else was doing the Greek thing. And I was like, okay, but I don't feel it. I'm not there. So even though my brother Kevin is Greek to his whole soul, I love him, but he bleeds purple. I needed something a little bit different. And so I went to Ghana. But I remembered the women, the elder women speaking to us and telling us about what we needed to do in life. And the best thing that we could do was to be still.
Yes.
Be still and listen.
Yes.
Yet, and they didn't have a problem talking to us this way, said, and stop moving that mouth so much. Stop.
The gift of shut up and be quiet.
That's what it was. And so, I would love to do that, get together. Ever so often, I'm down in Georgia because our home office is down there. So, I'm going to look you up.
Please do come on through. And when I'm in New York, I'm coming.
Oh, yes, come on. Because when women are together, even in the old-fashioned marketplaces in Ghana, they would yell and scream at each other. But ultimately, the love was there, the energy was there. And again, money is currency, it's energy. So you use it and then you release it. Our forefathers in Black Wall Street, that dollar lasted in that community 3 to 5 years.
Listen, not 3 to 5 minutes or hours, okay?
Like what we doing now.
Girl, don't even get me started about that.
I hear you. We're going to talk about the entrepreneur because there's something that's interesting. The other day I was reading about Orville Redenbacher, I don't know why I was reading it, but I guess it was because I was going to have to say this, is that it took him 30,000 tries to get what he wanted.
Yes, I saw that. I saw the documentary on that, and he wanted the kernel to pop just right. Like he had made it pop, but it didn't do what he wanted it to do in the air vacuum. It's amazing.
That's it. And I said, see, that's when God is talking to you and saying, this is what I planted in your brain. You know, I've told folks, the guy who started 409 cleaning, that used to be my statement. And he said he tried 408 times. And then 409, he made it. So he says, okay, we're going to call this 409.
Wow, that is so good.
That's the passion.
You have to be willing to fail, right? And I failed at magazines before this one. And a lot of businesses spend a lot of money, but you can't get into what you didn't do right. You have to get into what you're trying to do right? Not what you didn't do right, what you're trying to do right.
Yes.
And the only difference between people who are wildly successful versus those who are stuck is the fact that they did not allow their feelings and their emotions to govern their next step. That's the only difference. You got to keep going.
Connect with spirit and keep going. Well, this has been Dr. Stefany. This is such an honor, and I'm so thankful. Now, y'all got all the information, jot it down, screenshot, whatever, and go subscribe. That's what you got to do.
And go to Facebook to the Hustle Mama Tribe. That's where I teach the 10 streams of income in 10 days, and you can learn all about it. So,
and once you learn, learning is on a level and action is the queen.
That's correct. You have
Get
to
busy. So thank you so much. You enjoy, be blessed. I'm thankful. So and we'll be back in touch. I know there's a lot of things you're doing with Soul City. So, you know, I'm here. They can't get rid of me, even if they wanted to.
Now.
That's it. So you take care.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And to my audience, thank you so much for listening. I know you learned something. Usually I ask, did you learn something? I know you learned something today. You got to go to the Facebook site. You got to go subscribe to the magazine. You got to get busy. We got things to do. And women, I'm going to spend this quick time to say, women, we are the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. We produce life. And therefore, we need to be recognized for the greatness that we are. And the best way to be recognized is to recognize the queen and the God within you. That's right. So everybody be at peace. Thank you again, Stefany. And we will keep tuned to see if we do a show. We probably will be on show next week. Okay. And of course, we've got the Harlem Week coming up.
Yes.
A lot of stuff. So stay tuned for what's going on. And my new sister.
Yes, Soul Sisters.
Soul Sister.
Yes.
So everyone have a blessed night and take care. You have been watching Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse. And we'll see you soon.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men wasn't the same. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She was magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.